Alright, hi everyone, my name is Glenn, aka Whale Smash from Reddit or Airsoft Sniper Forum, Instagram, whatever. You're actually hearing me talk for the first time. And today I'm going to go over my KWA MP7 to MP5 AEG mid-cap conversion. So this is a MP7 magazine for a KWA MP7 GBVR. It's tapped for HPA, and it runs a CYMA MP5 mid-cap magazine. So I'll be going over all the individual extra parts that you'll need in order to make one of these, as well as where you can find this adapter. So as a quick function test, I will show you how this works. Very straightforward. You just take your MP5 mid-cap, stick it into the bottom, it'll latch, and then obviously this isn't going to come out if you're pulling on it. If you're running around, it's not going to fall out. You press the magazine release, you can pull the magazine out. I have a loaded magazine here. There's the BBs in it. And just to show you that all the rounds will feed in, I'm just going to insert this. Let's move this over here. And all the BBs feed into the tube. It doesn't double stack properly, but in my experience, this doesn't really matter. Alright, I'll have a shooting test in another video, but I think I'll go over all the parts that you need, as well as some assembly and printing tips for how you can make this yourself. So, things that you will need. You will need these two things. This is a 90-degree ZCI/Foster NPT fitting, and this is a 1/8 NPT male HPA fitting. You can find both of these on Amped Airsoft, and that's where I actually got them myself. Other things you will need. Obviously, you will need a KWA MP7 magazine. The ones that I recommend using, and actually the one that this adapter is designed for, is the KWA 20-round short magazines. Now, Evike used to carry these, but they've been out of stock for a couple weeks now. I don't know when they're going to get a restock, or if they're even going to get a restock. So right now, the only places that I've been able to find them is overseas. They cost about $40 from overseas. That's excluding shipping. So that is a little bit expensive. I know that Airsoft Global does carry them. It's a Hong Kong-based retailer, and I think that's actually where I got this one myself. Aside from that, you will need a couple of M3 screws. These two black ones on the side here and here. Those are 10mm M3 screws, and then you will need 3 15mm M3 screws, which goes here, here, and here. So aside from that, the only thing that you will need is a version 2 trigger box, or version 2 gearbox trigger spring. That is the little spring right here, and that's what actuates the release mechanism for the magazines. Printing tips. So, well, printing and assembly, I guess. I'll do some assembly suggestions after you have everything printed. So when you're printing this STL for the adapter, it'll come in 3 pieces. There will be the base plate, the primary part of the adapter, and then the magazine latch. The magazine latch and the base plate are very straightforward. Print them in your usual orientations, which will probably be top down. So for the base plate, it will be printed like this. Imagine the table being your build plate. Just print it upside down like that. Same thing with your magazine latch. The only one that's a little bit different is your actual base plate right here. And the reason for that is that the mounting point for the adapter onto the base plate is done by these screws. And I don't know if you can see this very well, but there's very little material there. So you need the print orientation placed in a good position so that there's enough structural integrity for it. If you print it like this with the standard top-down method, what will end up happening is that your layer lines are in the direction of stress. So you can think of it as like grains in wood. It's the same idea for print lines. So what I actually recommend doing is, like here's the original base plate. I'm just going to use this as an example. Imagine table's your build plate. Print it with the forward part of your base plate facing down. So you want this part down. This will put your layer lines perpendicular to the direction of stress. So basically my layer lines for this base plate, which is this top part right here, are actually running vertically like this. So that way when the magazine is under stress or I'm pulling on it and pushing on it, it's not going to just delaminate from, like the layer lines are not going to just delaminate on me. Other than that, I think that's it for printing suggestions. So assembly is pretty straightforward. There's really only one way that you can do it. After you finish printing your magazine, you're going to have, you will want to take your base plate off, of course, your original base plate. Take out your original spring and your original spring guide. You can set those aside. You will not need them anymore. I recommend that you don't lose them though, in case you ever want to convert this back. So you'll take that out, and then what I actually recommend doing is you want to look for these two side pins here. There's two pins which run through the entire base of the gun, one here and one here. You punch those out and it will allow you to take the entire base of the gas mag out. Then you'll want to take your gas valve out and then you can drill and tap it. The drill size that you will want, it's your standard. If any of you have ever tapped a gas blowback before, you'll know which ones they are. But the ones that I used are this and this. This is a 1/8 NPT tap. It's 1/8-27, which is a standard pipe thread. And then the drill was a 2164. So try to drill the bottom of the base as, what's the right word for it? As straight as possible. You need it to be at like a 90-degree angle, basically, because otherwise, when you thread your HPA fitting in there, your 90-degree fitting, it'll be tilted to one side, or in the worst case, if you like really mess it up, you won't be able to fit the adapter over it. So as far as assembling it, you'll want to put that drilled and tapped base plate back into the gun. You'll want to back into the magazine, reassemble it, and then you'll want to slide your base plate on. Now, after you've slid your base plate on, you want to take your 90-degree fitting and you'll want to put some Teflon tape around it and then install it. Just screw it in the normal way that you would. Do not take your HPA fitting and thread it into this before you thread this 90-degree fitting into the magazine. You'll find out very quickly that there's not enough space for this to rotate. So other than that, install is very straightforward. Just screw the 90-degree fitting in, then put your HPA fitting onto your 90-degree, and you can put the rest of the adapter on and attach them by their designated screws. So I think that's it as far as the install guide. Right, so where can you find this adapter? It's available for free at thingiverse.com. I'll have a link to my profile, my Thingiverse profile, in the description below. Oh yeah, shoutouts. Really quick, I do want to give some mentions to the people that have contributed to this little design here. So the first one will go to a fellow Thingiverse user. I'm gonna murder his name right now. His name was Joledingue. I don't know how to say that. I'll have a link to his profile down below. But the original MP5 portion of this adapter was designed by him. It was meant for M4s, so obviously I made some very heavy modifications in order to make it work for my application, but since the original STL came from him, I do want to give him credit for that. And then the last one that I want to give out is Primary Airsoft. He actually came up with what is probably the original idea for this KWA MP7 to MP5 adapter. But that was like a good 2 years ago, and then he vanished, and he basically stopped making them, so I don't think there's any harm in me designing a new one and releasing it for free. Regardless, I do want to give him some credit for the original idea for this. Alright, shooting video and test will be in another video, and I think that's it for now. So, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoy the adapter if you make one, and if you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comment section or send me an email, message on Reddit, Instagram, whatever. Yeah, alright.